Okay, we're almost set up. So on Slack, you're gonna find the notes for today. So if you go to this Thursday class and you scroll up here, scroll up a little bit, you should be able to find the notes. And of course, this class will be recorded. I encourage you to use Slack here on the Thursday channel to ask your questions so I can answer them fast. And so you should have your IDE open. And if you have your classes, your class notes, that's also wonderful. So, so we're gonna start today with, I'm gonna move my Slack on the other side. So we're gonna start today with reviewing what we did last week with dictionaries. And we're gonna start working with Python and spreadsheets. So we're gonna start today with the basics. So if you have any questions, please put it on Slack. And if you don't have Slack, you can use the chat too. But I'll be much faster on Slack since I can hear it. And if it's, some people say the volume is too low, so let me know if this is still too low. Okay, so welcome everybody. So the recap today is dictionary. So last week we did some example dictionaries, and the dictionaries are a list of elements that have a key and a value associated with it. So so they're separated by the column. So on the left you have the key, on the right you have the value. So you can see an example here. So this is an example of a very simple phone book. And I'm gonna put it on Slack just in case you don't have this one. So 1 second, let me put it on Slack. So we did that. This is the one we did last week, but I'll put it on Slack just in case you don't have it. And anybody remembers what this script here did? So it has, we imported a library, the CS50 library, and we get a guest string. So we can ask we have a user interface, and then we have a dictionary here with 2 phone numbers, Brian and David. And then here on their name, anybody remember what this line here, name equal get string name, means, or what does it do? So I see some people are typing. Yeah, so this line, very good, thank you. This line is the line that will allow the user to enter a name. So they'll enter a name. So they can enter Brian or David because those are the only ones that are available. If they don't enter Brian or David, we'll get an error. So, and then what we're gonna do if we enter Brian? Anybody knows? If we enter Brian, what does this code here? If name and people, what does it mean? Yeah, exactly. Very good. We're gonna get a printout of the phone number. So here we have a bracket notation. So anybody remember what the bracket notation means? How does it help us? Searches for the key. Yeah, so the bracket is your indication. It's gonna, whatever's inside the bracket, it's gonna try to find it in your dictionary. So that's your clue. Oh, the curly braces are the dictionary, and the name of the dictionary is people. And then we're gonna index inside the dictionary, and the the bracket notation is gonna find the value. It's gonna find the key and then it's gonna spit out the value. Very good. So, and you can run it. If you didn't run it last week, you can run, we did one last week, or you can run the one is on the, on Slack. We also ran this one, which is, we kind of changed it a little bit. We put more data here. We could, remember we were experimenting with different names and see what happened. So we did that last week. Let me put it there. This is an alternative one that we did last week, where we kind of change it a little bit. And also it gives us an error in case it wasn't found. So if the, this one, if the L is then the key that we enter is not found, it's gonna tell us it's found. So that's an improvement on the user interface, which we don't have here because it's not gonna tell us. If we, on this script, it's not gonna tell us that we, something is missing. If we put, look for a key that is not here, this script here is not gonna give us an alert that, hey, this one does not exist inside the dictionary. So we added an improvement, and you can see the improvement in the on Slack on the Thursday channel. So it's gonna be here. So you can rerun that one. So you have two versions to run. So now moving along, and this is all the stuff we did last week. These are different types, different ways you can write a dictionary. So these are different data types. So we have here a string. So see, in dictionary, you can combine different type of data. So we can enter a string, we can enter a Boolean, we can enter an integer, and we can enter a list. So you can have a mix of different types, which makes dictionaries very versatile. Another way is to define. So this is on other ways that you can use dictionaries also. So we have here, this is the key. So we have, this is an empty dictionary. Now we have where the key is an integer. So you can have, if you have a spreadsheet, you can have the first field called 1, and then under 1 you have the value. So the value will be apple, and then you move to the next column, and the field on that column will be 2, and the value is Paul. So if you wanna see it that way. And here the name will be also the field, and the value will be John. In this case, the field, the name of the field will be 1, and the value will be this list, which will be 2, 4, and 3. So this is the first element, and this is the second element. So you can see, you can mix different kind of keys. So the key is still on the left of the column, and here also, this is the key. So you have the key here and another key here. This is another way to do dictionary. And then you can have from sequence, you can have a dictionary inside a dictionary. So that's interesting. You can also find values inside the dictionary. So if you have a dictionary that, you know, the first element is name, Jack, and the second element is age 26, you can index. You can index by name, and you're gonna get Jack. You can index by age, and you're gonna get 26. If you index a key that is not there, you're gonna get an error. And also, this is an error because we don't have address here. So it doesn't exist. So any questions so far? And you can take this code and test it out on by yourself and see if it doesn't make any sense. You can change it a little bit and see how it works until it clicks for you. how to add to a dictionary. If you have any question, just put it on. I'll see it and I'll answer. It doesn't matter where I'm in the class. I'll answer your question. So to add to a dictionary, it's very easy. We put the name of the dictionary. So this is the name. And then you can bracket, you put, so that's the name of the value, of the key, and then equal red. So if we run this one on the IDE, let me open, I have one open already. Oh, I just gonna open here. And then I'm saving it. Save and I have to save it in this folder here. And I copied the wrong one that I didn't want to. So let me write this. Okay, now we're set. So, and you can do it at the same time I'm doing it and see if we get the same answer. So I'm gonna run a Python. And if you notice that I make a mistake, let me know. So here we are gonna add color as another key inside the dictionary, and the value is gonna be red. So we're gonna have brand of the car, model of the car, year of the car, and now we're gonna have color. So let's see if that happens. So when we print the whole dictionary, you see that color is added. And we can keep adding this one, this. So you can see what kind of we add. Brand, model, year, maybe we're gonna put engine. So Mustang. Let's see. Trans. Oh, okay. So we can put transmission on, got it. And then equal, it has to be manual. If it's that Mustang, it has to be manual. And because otherwise, why would you get a Mustang? So, my opinion. And then see, that is added. Transmission is added. So that's the way you can add to it. And then I'm going to show you how you can add more. So that's the short review for that. Oh, how do you remove? So you remove with this called pop method. So let's remove that. So we're gonna use this pop. So the way you remove it, you put, so you should be able to, okay, you should be able to remove it. We can put pop. No, so the name is this pop, and then we write down what we want to remove. So we just put quotes, and we can remove the color. And then we print again and see if it works. So it should now not have the color. So now you see I removed the color. So that's the way you remove elements from a dictionary. And of course, this is very time consuming if you have a long list. So we're gonna move into making this maybe using larger data. There is a cheat sheet here that you can review that has all these rules all the syntax for dictionaries. Okay, so now we're gonna use CSV files. So CSV files are spreadsheets, and when you use Excel or you use Google Sheets or anything else that is runs on a spreadsheet, it's like a spreadsheet. If you're doing SAP or similar, you can export a list of data, a file of data as a CSV. So you're gonna find them on Excel, like if, you know, save as CSV. So that's a file that can be opened across many one. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put the code here for the pop so you can have it. Thank you for reminding. I'm gonna put it on here on the on Slack so you can copy paste it. So anybody doesn't know what a CSV. So a CSV file is a comma separated value file, which that's what it is. It's a file that has all the values are separated by comma, similar to dictionaries. So you see how it start being an analogy. Oh, that's why we use dictionaries, because they're very similar to CSV files. CSV files are used by Excel and other spreadsheet software. So everything is all connected. So first thing, we're gonna go here. So I'm gonna give you the steps that you have to follow, that I'm gonna give you to follow. These are not, you know, mandatory, but I suggest to follow this for now, and then you can figure out other ways to do it. So the first thing is, find on your CSV, make sure you are in the folder where you want to be. Like I want to be here on January 21st. I mean, because that's the folder that I have here on my terminal. So I want to be in the same level, in the same directory as my terminal. So you, if you're using this IDE, just click on here, and we're gonna make a file. So you just click here where it says plus, or you can put a new file. The new file, we're gonna save it as, and we're gonna save one as phone book, like here on the sheet, phone book 01 PY. So that's gonna be our Python. And I already have one, so I'm not gonna save it because I already have one and it's gonna get messed up. So, but you all do that. Then we're gonna open it again, making sure I don't have, yeah, I have one, so I'm gonna delete it. I'll delete that one, so I don't have a duplicate. Then you're gonna open another file, and you're gonna save it, save as, and this one we're gonna call it phone book .csv, and make sure it's the same directory where you are. So you're supposed to be the phone book PY file and the phone book CSV file. They need to be in the same level in the directory. They cannot be one all the way up and one is all the way down on the root directory. They have to be at least in the same folder. So save that as .csv, and it's going to be an empty file. They're both going to be an empty file. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so you save both, make sure you save it both. And on the phone book, it's just empty, doesn't have anything. You're gonna type name, comma, space, phone. And then you're gonna click enter. Make sure you click enter when you get at the end of the phone. And then you're gonna save. Make sure you save. So this is the only thing, and make sure your cursor handler is right here at the beginning of two. So any questions so far? Is it like this, or is it like this, or would you, or doesn't make any sense? Okay, I'm trust that everybody's trying to do this. So if you need me to repeat it, I can repeat it again. Okay, good. So, but if anybody got lost, because, you know, if you have never done this, I can show you again how to do it. So let's close this one for now to have less things here on your IDE. Okay, so now we're set. Good, 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 good. Everything is going well. Now that we have all set, you're gonna take the code that I'm gonna put on Slack, and you're gonna put it on your phone book. You're gonna put it on your phone book PY. So it's gonna look like this. So you're gonna take the code that I put on the file on Slack, just I'm gonna put it again, and take that and put it on your phone book PY file. So it looks like this. So it's gonna start, line 1 is gonna say phone book 01 PY, and then all this green text that you see here are the comments. And why did I put comments? So I can explain everything, and then you know, next week I can open it and I know exactly what each line means. So that's why I have all those comments. But the code is gonna start on line 7. So tell me when you're ready, so I can explain what this code does. Let me make this a little, no, it's very big so far, so. Oh, what happened? So let me know if I can proceed. Yeah, okay, good. And if you need me to repeat it, we can repeat it. We're gonna do this twice. We're gonna do it this way, and then we're gonna do another way. So if you don't get it the first time, you get it on the second time. And if not, you just let me know. So the first line, so you have all this code, and what it is to explain what is going on. So phone book 01 is the name, PY is the name of the file. Then we're going to import a library called CSV. And that's gonna bring a couple of built-in functions. So it's gonna bring a library that we're gonna use. And it's gonna bring a lot of other functionality that is used to manage CSV files. So then we're gonna also bring the CS50 library, so we can have a user input like you have seen before. So line 11, here line 11, is what it's gonna do. It's going to open the phone book .csv. So what is the phone book CSV? Anybody can tell me what is phone book CSV? Yeah, it's the file we made earlier. So it's very, very important that the name of the file that you just created matches the name that is on line 11. So that's super important. And we have to put it in quotes. So yeah, exactly. So that's it's calling. So this script here is telling phone book, CSV, I'm gonna work with you, but it has to be spelled the same way than your file. So open is gonna open it. And there are different ways to open Python. There are different ways to open. And it's kind of similar to when you open a Word document and it's ask you to read only. So it's kind of comes from the same way of thinking. So we're gonna open as A, and A is append mode. So we can have append mode, we can have read mode, we can have read and write mode, but don't worry about it. We're only gonna talk about A and R, but right now A. So that's why this is A. And all that is gonna be equal to file. So the file is gonna be the variable that is gonna hold the file called font SSV. It's gonna have a big list, which is gonna be a dictionary that we're gonna put inside a box called file. So this is the variable. So we're added value to that variable. And it's in what way? It's an append mode. So what the append mode means is open the file for writing. The file is created is if it does not exist. So later on, we're not gonna create the file. You will see. The handle is positioned at the end of the file. So it's gonna be like those old typewriters where you press return and it's gonna go to the beginning of the next line. The data being written will be inserted at the end after the existing data. The handle will move to the next line. So it's gonna be, the data is gonna be entered and the handle cursor is gonna go to the next line. So you'll have a column, kind of like what? Like a spreadsheet, like an Excel column. So the difference is we're gonna have here 2 columns in various rows. So here is our user interface. It's gonna ask us for the name and the number. So right here, and you're familiar with those, line 20 and 21, it's gonna ask you for name and writer. So the compiler, the terminal here, is gonna ask you to provide a name, it's gonna ask you to provide a number, you enter, and that's gonna be sent to the CSV file. Okay, last line, well, almost last line, it's line 24. The file, you see that here is referencing line 11. So line 11 is referenced here on line 24. So you save the data into the variable file. Then there is gonna be here a transformation. So the CSV writer is gonna do something to that file. So what is that? So CSV writer comes from this library, the CSV library. So it's a built-in function that comes from the CSV library and expects an input called file. So it's gonna write it. It's gonna put it in the file. And then it's gonna write it in a row. So the writer row is to write a list as a row. So it's gonna put name, comma, number. So we're gonna see how that happened. And then this is close the file. So when you are ready, we're gonna run this. So we're gonna do Python phone book 01 py. So so you just write that, type Python phone book, the name of this file, py, and then press enter. And what do you think is gonna happen when I press enter? It's gonna ask for a name, correct. And then it's gonna ask me for a number. Awesome. So let's put a name. So I'm gonna put Anna like last time, and then it's gonna ask me for the number. I hope you can see here, it's asking me for the number. So I'm gonna put 732, and you can use any formatting. I haven't put you can do any formatting. I can add 10 numbers because I didn't put a constraint for that number. When I'm done, I'm going to press enter. And that's done. So what's the next step we have to do? So we did that. So it's supposed to go to the file. So what do we do next? Yeah, let's open the file and see if it works. So you're going to find here on your IDE where you have the phone book CSV, and you're going to open it. Let's see. Let's see if there is there. Is there. So you see is there. So that's how you can populate a CSV file. The CSV file, you can imagine you did this for a while and you have everybody there. And when also there is in Python, and that's something else that is more advanced because you have to download the IDE into your computer, and then you'll have to have a microphone. You have to follow a tutorial for that, but there is a possibility that you can speak instead of typing, and what you're speaking is adding it. So so that's all possible. So then you grab this file and save it. I mean, download it. You can download this file. So this file, you can download it. I think you can just right click. No, yeah, you can right click here and you can download it to your computer right here. Download. And once you don't download it to your computer, you can open it on a spreadsheet. On Excel, it's going to ask you a couple questions, but mainly it can open on a Excel, but in Excel, it's going to ask you, is this a CSV file? And you're going to say, yes, a CSV file. And then they ask you, do you want to remain a CSV file? You want to make it into Excel? And you can tell them, no, I want Excel. It doesn't hurt, but it just, Excel likes to ask a lot of questions. But that's how it's going to look on a spreadsheet. So see how pretty it looks? So you put the file there, so you can work on both. You can work on Python and bring it on Excel, or work on Excel and then take it to Python. You can also, the next thing we can do, any questions so far? Okay, so the other thing is we can just create the file without this script can create a file for us. So we can take the CSV file and delete it. And then we can run this again as it is. And I can put Anna, and then I can put the phone number. And you're going to see the phone book CSV has been created. So I just click reload. Come on. And you see that it's there. So that's another way to do it. It's going to create that for you. But it's missing the name and phone number because we didn't add that. So we can put it, let's see if we can put it right here. And then save it. And then add another one. And see, it keeps adding. So you can add more and so on. And it keeps adding in real time. So, so that also, it saves you the hassle of making a file first. The script makes the file for you. Okay, awesome. I think that's pretty sweet. I don't know about you guys, but I was very pleased with myself when I did that. I'm going to show you the same script, but now it's a more Pythonic way to do it. And the only change, yeah, I'm glad somebody thinks things are cool when I think I'm cool. I just think this is so cool when I can figure things out. So thank you very much for sharing my weird interest, but you all have that interest, so cool. The whole thing with Python, we're going to change a little bit because the previous one is not very Pythonic because it has, remember last week we took one that it didn't have if else, and we put if else. So anytime we do if else, it's more Pythonic. So the other way to do it, and you're going to see here, is we remove the line that said open, and we use with. So with is gonna make us more, it's gonna make a loop. So this is gonna be indented. So let's try that one and see how it works. So I already have it saved. So I'm gonna send it to you and see if, and I'm gonna put it on Slack and try that one and see how it's different than the previous one. And again, you don't have to oh, that guys, the last line didn't get coded. Let me do it again. Okay, so use this one because the first use this one because this one didn't get into code. So you're gonna see this one. You don't have to create a CSV file. So if you have a CSV file with the same name, just go ahead and delete it. So it doesn't, you see how it works now. If you don't delete it, it's gonna keep adding data to the next space. So I'm gonna delete this to start fresh so you all can see how it looks. So, so the only difference here is there is here a with function. So the with function is gonna require this to be indented. So we're gonna have now less lines than before, and it's gonna be more Pythonic. So the with function open the file as a we still do append, and the build will open and close the file. So previously, when we did the previous one we just said open, and then at the end we have to close. See, file close. We cannot leave it open. The with function will open and close the file. So it's more efficient. And also you don't forget about not closing the file, because that could be an issue, an error later on to leave it open. So try to run that one that I just put the phone book 02py. So I'm gonna write Python phone book 02py. And I didn't put a name. It's gonna be empty, so I'm gonna have to run it again. And I'm gonna put John in 732. Okay, and then I'm gonna open that file and see how it looks. So see, it looks the same. So that's another way to do it. And you will see it's more efficient. The code is more succinct than the previous one. And so that's the way it's done. And also they changed this. I think you can put this as a bracket. I don't know why it keeps changes to parentheses. Let me try this. I thought I have brackets. See if it runs. See what happened. Reload. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why it keep, when I go back forth the different platform I'm using, it changes to parentheses, but I'm using brackets, and that's the way it should be. Any questions so far? So this gonna open a whole lot of ways for you to work with spreadsheets. You can use CSV files and use it with Python in different ways. You can look at other tutorials. So if you're working with SAP, you might want, this is the basic, you might want to follow a tutorial about how to do that, and you can easily follow it now that you understand how to work with the basis of Python and data file like CSV. And you know, if you don't have CSV, you know, if you find a tutorial that for another kind of file, maybe PDF, you just have to find the library for PDF, and instead of this, you can find PDF and find what are the functions that work for PDF or any other files. But this is a great starting point for you to develop other skills that are very advanced, and I think they're very applicable. You can also use your terminal. So some people work in terminals on databases, so you can actually use the terminal to put code, and you're gonna get the same data. So and also this will allow you to maybe learn a little bit of SQL. So the next one is how to use, so collect data and tally data. So on top of, one of the things we can do in Python, and that's why Python is very strong data science, we can do equations, we can count, we can do math equation, we can do a statistic equation. So today I'm going to show you how to count. So this is the first version on how to count data. So I have a form here that collects, and I already did it, and you are welcome to use it, to use something like that, copy paste it. I just use that form. Oh, sorry, somebody, are you guys typing? But I see people typing, but I don't see anything. So I don't know what's going on. Oh, there it is. Okay, I see a question. Open CSV with open as a file, with open and close it, print. A is append. So that's a great question. You can open a file as R or as A. So A means right here, open file in append mode. So that's A. And this, you can put it on single quotes or double quotes. You just have to be consistent across the hand. You can mix double quotes and one quote. You know, you use one quote in the beginning, use the other quote, single quote at the end. But basically, this A is append mode. So when you open a file, you have to tell the computer what we want to do with that file. Do we want to rewrite it? We want to erase it? We want to not touch it, just read it? What do we want to do? So the append mode and I put here the definition. It's open the file for writing. So you can add to that file. So it's gonna, you can add data to that file. And the file is created if it's not, does not exist. And also the handle is like those typewriters. You ever done a typewriter or a word processor? You click enter. So not all the data is gonna get in one line. So you will see here when I open this, this goes, it move to here. I don't tell it to move. When you put append, you're telling the computer, enter the data and then move to the beginning of the next line. Enter the data and move to the beginning of the next line. So that's the way it's append. And then here, see, this is, you have to dissect every single line on the file, and that's a good question. And that's why I put here the comments on the, with the pound. So the CSV Writer is a built-in function and expects an input. And it prints it to the file. It puts it in the file. So you get this, you have a file, you open it, you get some data, but that data, this data that you collected needs to go in the file. So this is gonna be a writer. And then you notice this writer is writer that, and this is the new value of all this. So it's gonna tell, we need to write on this file. So this one is, we need to write in this file. And then we we kind do like a, we add it to the writer. So the writer is gonna make it as easier. We don't have to write the whole thing. So it's we assign a value to a variable. So the variable writer is gonna be here. And then we're gonna modify that by adding the name and number. I hope that makes sense. And the best way to understand this is for you to run it, and experiment on it, and it'll click. Because there is a lot of things that are happening here. Starting with line 11. You have to open the file. So if you think of an algorithm, how do you write on a book? You have to open the file. You have to find a pencil. Then you have to write the words. And you write the words, but you haven't, maybe you haven't written, you have it in your mind. So you have to then write it on the book. So that's the steps of the process. So it's very logical and very, a lot of steps going on there. So great question. If it doesn't make sense, let me know. I can send you a tutorial for that. The next one is the same thing, but it's more Pythonic. So it skips a lot of the extra steps because that's what Python does. It makes things more succinct. For the question if that is on Slack, if you have to put a directory, I don't think you don't have to put a directory. If it's in below, you can put all your files in another folder. So for example, like I have here, I have an example here. That's a great question. So these are, dictionary is my my Python script. It's gonna ask for a file, which is gonna be a text file or a CSV file. So I can put those files here. I can make another one. In this case that we're working, you don't have to put the root, the address on the directory like you specify in on Slack, because they are on the same level. So you might not have to put the location. If I'm working here on this level that you can see here, but my file CSV is above of my root, my directory is above, I cannot call it. There is no way I can call it. So it's either in the same level I am or a lower level. So you can either have a parent at the same level, the same parent directory, or a child, but you cannot have a grandparent. So your CSV file, your text file, or whatever you want to modify has to be at the same level than your Python file, but it cannot be above. So I don't think you have to call. You can try it to move it. I encourage you to move it either horizontal, maybe put it on a folder, inside a folder, or below and see what happened. But I don't think you have to put the path. If you need to put the path only when you are in the terminal, but not when you are here, when you're running your script. If you're working on the terminal, it's gonna ask you for the path. But also, I tried it a while ago, so I'm not 100% sure. So I encourage you to try to move it below, in the directory below. And when you work here on the terminal, you have to put the root, but we are not asking, we're not doing that because the script is not asking us to enter the file. It's already taking it inside the script. Okay, so the next one, yeah, but I'll encourage you to try it because I tried a couple months ago and haven't tried again. So I encourage you to try it, but that should be okay. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is do a count. We're gonna do a count with the file. So this is gonna count what are the most popular flavors. So I did a form on Google Form. It doesn't have to be on Google Form. It could be any form. It could be something on the internet. It could be you doing by hand. But I collected some data. I asked some people, what is your favorite ice cream? And I got a data. So now I want to find out how many people like strawberry, how many people like chocolate, and so on. So I collected that data, and that data is right here. So you can save. I'm going to put it on, maybe if it lets me. No, it won't put it in my slide. So let's see if I have it here. I'm gonna put the file on Slack, and you can use it on your IDE. So what you're gonna do with that CSV file is you're gonna upload it to the same directory where you are. So I just send you that's can download it. You can download it here. If you have the file, you should be able to download it to your computer as soon as it's ready to download. Did it work? Yeah, so you should be able to download it here. Why it doesn't let me share file? Oh, right here, download, it's the cloud. So you should be able to download it to your computer. And it has 41 lines. And then you're gonna upload it to your IDE. So mine is right here. And as I put it on the same level where I'm gonna write my code. I can maybe make a folder and put it as a child directory, but I'm gonna just leave it there for now. And then I'm gonna write a script that is going to count how many people like strawberry, how many people like chocolate, and so on. So this is the script here. And let me get it from the IDE so it's easier to read. And I'm gonna put it on Slack. And I think that's the next week. I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna keep going with this. And this is like the preliminary code, but this can improve. And when I say improve, we can actually standardize the data and make changes, make everything uppercase or lowercase. So we don't, if people are entering data, you know, some people will capitalize, some people will put commas, some people will put uppercase, some people may just make a typo or just type at the beginning of a word. So we're gonna work on that next week as the last week. But right now, I just want to show you a simple way, a simple script in Python where we can count, because Python has a lot of power on doing calculations. And you might know that, which that's why it's so powerful in data science. So if you have your file close to your ice cream.py, you should be able to run it. So let's run it and then we talk about it because we have just one more minute. Python ice cream.py. And then what did we get? So we got a count. How many people have the strawberry, how many people like chocolate, and so on. So you might want to wonder, how does that file looks like? So that file looks like, let me open it. So this is the file. This is the file I gave Python to give me how many people. So you see it's no order, it's random. It has random names. So it's not sorted, it's not in order. So you wonder, how did they pick it up? Also, we have a timestamp on the first column and we only get the second column is what we told Python to count. We didn't tell them to do anything with this first column. So let's see what's going on in the code. And also the code is explained really good here. So the first thing is to import the library CSV. The second thing is create a dictionary called flavors. Flavors with S. And that flavor is gonna have a key. And you see the key are the flavors of the ice cream. The values are 0 because we're gonna initiate the count as 0, right? Because that's how you start counting. Then we're gonna start counting. We're gonna start counting. And as you see here, the first thing we have to do is open. So with open, which is the function we talk about, we're gonna open the file and close it. So we're gonna open, and then when we're done, it's gonna close. So it's gonna open the file, and you can see here, we have to name the file exactly as it's the name of the file. And you see here, it has to name exactly. It's very picky about that, as you know. And then we're gonna do R. So now we're not doing A, we're doing R because it's gonna read. It's gonna read the file. We're not gonna change anything to this list of ice cream. We're not gonna add data, we're just gonna count. So we use R. And we use R to keep the integrity of the file. So as by mistake or without no wanting, modify the file. So then, you know, it's reading the file, then goes to the next reader. The next reader it's gonna skip the header. It's gonna skip the header. So you're not gonna count the header, it's gonna count the row after the header. So that's what is there. And then it's going to do row in reader. And you might recognize this from the previous Python we did. It's a for loop. So you need to review the for loop. So what it is row is the element, in reader is all the list. So it's gonna go, flavor is this, the dictionary. Row is the first row on the first row. But you're gonna see a 1. You see this one? That's the column. That's the column. So first row, column 1. So that's when it's gonna compare. Is the flavor, is this value, is this value in the dictionary called flavors? If yes, it's gonna count 1. So it's gonna count. So it's gonna keep comparing this dictionary with the data. And anytime it finds 1, it's gonna add 1 to the counter, add 1 to the counter, 1 to the counter, until we are done counting. And that's what we get. And that's why you see the results here. So that's the short answer. And for more explanation, let's talk next week because I'm over time and I'm sure you all have things to do. But just think about what we did today, practice, let me know of any questions. I'm on Slack all the time, and good luck to you, and I hope to see you next week. And thank you so much. You guys are great. I'm gonna stay on Slack if you guys anybody has any question. Okay, thank you.